Hey students, in this video I'm going to explain how to formulate linear and quadratic systems and also solve them. So here we're going to have a scenario, a real world situation where again you're solving but no equations are given to you. So that means you need to create those equations. And whenever you have that problem arise, you need to ask yourself if you are given either just data or if maybe you're given two key information. So that means if you happen to be given the initial velocity and the initial height, you can automatically jump into using this equation in quadratics where you just replace the v and the 0 and the h and the 0 with the numbers that they give you for initial velocity and initial height. But if they don't mention anything about initial velocity or height, then you're going to have to create those equations yourself with quadratic regression. And also, you might need to do that also with the linear regression. So for example, here you have a situation of a parabolic surface of a skateboard ramp where y is the height, x is the horizontal distance in feet, and then up here we have a spotlight being focused at a point on the ramp. So this specific point right here. The question is pretty much asking you what height is the spotlight focus. So again, the height being the y value. What is the y value for that point right there? So when we find the solution for the system, we're gonna just interpret that y value as the answer. So together we need to write the equations. We need the data for the line. So let's say this is the table for the line. Notice that the line creates the point 0, 56, and then 180, 38. So this mini table is going to represent the data that we're going to put for the linear regression. For the quadratic, we have the points 0, 48, and then 5, 44.68, and then 100, 6.3. So these 3 points are here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we're gonna grab our calculator and let's see. We're gonna go to Excel, and if there's document pages open, let's go ahead and delete those. You're gonna press Control up, delete, delete, delete. After that, you should just have 1 when you open it, 1.1. And up here, instead of just putting x, you're gonna need to put now x1, and on this one y1. So this creates the x and y values for the linear. And then on C and D, we're going to use x2 and y2. So this creates the x and y values for the quadratic. So I'm going to go ahead and type the data that we have. So 0, 50, 56, sorry, and 180 with 38. So for quadratics, we're going to have 0, 48, 5, 100, 44.68, and 6.3. So after you put all this data in there, now we're going to create the regressions. So you're going to click on menu, and then statistics, and then on stack calculations. And again, number 3 is for linear regression, and number 6 is for quadratic. So we're going to press linear regression first. You can either type x1 or just click right here, or also just click on the right and the options come up where you can just select them. So x1 and y1 are going to represent the x and y values for the linear regression. Notice that it's saving the equation on F1, and then you press OK. So all that information is given to you, and then now we're going to move to an empty space and do the quadratic regression, statistics, stat calculations, quadratic regression. And then we're going to click or select x2, y2. And now it's saving it on the second function, F2. So you have the quadratics and linear regressions done. So now you're going to open the graph. We can either just go home and click on the graph icon, or we could have also done Control Doc and open up a page of graph. So now F3 comes out automatically because F1 and F2, function 1, function 2 are already taken. If you go up, you can see that they are already taken by the equations that we created. But they're not showing, it's not showing as active, so you gotta press Enter to activate them. So menu, graph, function, and then if you go up, notice that now it's active because I pressed Enter. So I'm gonna now activate the second one, pressing Enter. So they are already in there, and to see them, if they don't show up automatically, you gotta zoom out. So menu, Windows, zoom out, click out, and here's a parabola. But this intersection right here is not the one we are looking for because this is a negative value, and in real worlds, we don't have negative distances. So we're looking for this other one out here, that one. This is where the spotlight, is focusing on a point on the ramp. So now that we have that graph, we're gonna just press Menu, Analyze, find the intersection, and then we drag it over, and that point is the point of intersection. So 3 things. We are given the point of solution right here, and we're also given the equations right here. So I'm gonna write those down in our paper. So let me jump to the notes. This point is gonna be, like I said, 235, comma, 32.5. And then the equation for the linear is going to be y equals negative 0.1x plus 56. And the equation for the quadratic is y equals 0.003x squared minus 0.677x squared. I'm sorry, not x squared, just x, plus 48. So I ran out of space, but it's there. All right. So in case they ask you for the equations instead of the solution, those are the equations you have for each. That's your system. And then this is a solution. Now to interpret the solution to answer, the height of the spotlight focused, we're looking at the y values being the height. So the y value is 32.5. So the spotlight focuses at 32.5 feet. Okay, so this is how you answer the word problems, real world scenarios, by formulating 2 equations and then finding the solution between the linear and the quadratic system of equations. All right, hope this helps.